Guys, take number 3, take number 4. Finally found some good software to use for recording these videos. But this is update number 2 for March 3rd, 2024. Let's get into it. So I found this on Reddit. Wanted to start with this. I think I kind of agree with this. A lot of the internet just kind of feels fake to me, especially with videos and marketing. Specifically the marketing videos that are real people. It all seems so scripted. So I kind of wanted to show this, but let's continue on. So weekly updates from Big Boss. Onboarded the new dev, which I spoke about a little bit last week. He's actually spending some time at ETH Denver, so he's not fully onboarded yet, and he hasn't received a payout, but I'm expecting that he's going to start receiving payouts on the 7th. Big Boss updated the contracts and app to use the latest ERC 4337 standard, v0.7, and then he set up deploy previews for Send.it. Update number 2, Leo built and edited basic responsive layout, sidebar header, and hamburger menu, and he cleaned up the dashboard screen, and then cleaned up some with the loaded send account balance. This is basically, we can send USDC back and forth. Ritesh started responsive designs for desktop, iPad landscape, iPad portrait, and iPhone resolution. He's redoing some of the pages for the auto layout format, liquid design, and then he also started defining icons and elements in the design library. And then our other front-end dev, Victor, sign-in and onboarding flow completed, now in quality assurance. And then 7 PRs merged, integrated the new font, refactored onboarding form component. Now it's an actual form, which means better SEO, DevX, and error handling. And then he pushed the first round of QA recommendations for myself and Big Boss and the rest of the team. He replaced Inter and DM Sans in the Send theme library. DM Mono font for monospace, which aligns more with the Send brand. And then to do, use the specific Send font stylizations. So that's the update for February 21st to the 27th. Okay, carrying on, let's move on to financials before we get into the branding and the intellectual property. So our financials, so you can see we're holding that 19.5 billion Send. We traded 8 Ethereum, the remaining 8 Ethereum at 3,300 Ethereum price, which I thought was kind of a good price because it had pumped a little bit. So we moved that into USDC, and we had about 50,000 USDC. But we just made payouts a couple days ago, or now a few days ago, which was on the 28th, and now we're currently set with about 43,000 USDC. And then the unclaimed fees, you can see there was been a lot of trading activity, and this is what I spoke about last video in the financials, and about sweeping those fees. We're going to start sweeping those fees once a month now, instead of every week or every 7th, 14th, 21st, and 28th. We're just going to do it on the 7th from here on out. Okay, so we're looking forward to that in a few days. It's going to be a nice little sum for us on the ETH side. Okay, now if you notice here, now again, going back to the financials, because it's so important to just manage that from a week-to-week basis, day-to-day basis. And I spoke about that in last video. You can see the price shot up, and our treasury balance, the value of that has gone up to 4.5 million. Now, if we look here, you can kind of compare it. So let's compare. So this is last week, and last week our treasury balance was 1.85 million. Now this week, the price has gone up, so it's 4.5 million, right? Now, when the price continues to go up, this is what we want. We always want to put ourselves in a good financial situation, right? Because we have money, we can always continue to build, right? So it's important to bring in, to build products that generate revenue, and to manage that revenue, or to manage this treasury the right way, so we're continuing to put ourselves in a good situation. So, if we do a 10x from here, we're looking at, this treasury now goes to 45 million. And we know that our liquidity situation from the beginning has been always good. So if we're sitting on a 45 million treasury, we can then sell into that. Let's say, we sell, 1 to 2% of that. If we were to do that, you're looking at, close to $500,000, and the price impact wouldn't be that much. But $500,000 can, last us a year of building, right? So we want to get to that point, and we are getting there. We're doing all the right steps that we need to get there, and you can see that here with the price going up and our treasury going up. So I'm pretty happy about that. Okay, continuing to keep an eye on that. Let's continue on. So this is going back. So DD asked some questions in the chat, and keep the questions coming. I like that you guys are involved and you guys are asking questions like this. So new here, just watch the video in the pinned comments. Looks like an amazing project. I haven't seen the previous branding, but really impressed with the current one you showed in the video. Thank you, DD. Quick questions. I wasn't able to find the roadmap or timeline. Is there one published somewhere? So we don't publish the roadmap or timeline. These videos are a way for us to kind of build in public, and I think we're starting to do that now. But we may at some point publish, like, let's say a 3-year timeline, or a 10-year timeline, vision of what we have planned. But for now, there's no roadmap or timeline. Is the team doxed? So the team is semi-doxed. Myself, Ethan, which my real name is Eric. I'm from Los Angeles. Alan, who's the lead tech, is from Texas, and Ritesh is from Bucharest. These are their real names. So Alan is Big Boss, and Ritesh is Rit. So you can kind of see our bios there. I told you before that I spent time in real estate, and then I was in the mobile repair game, and then now I've been building in crypto for about 3 years now, and Ritesh has been designing for over 15 years. And there's a few other people that have helped us, like for instance Nathan Worsley. He's in London. He's worked with Flashbots. He's pretty familiar. You can find him on Twitter under Nathan Worsley, but he's in charge of all our contracts on the token side. So yeah, we're pretty much, we're as doxed as you can be. Third question, why did you raise independently rather than go down the VC route? Well, this kind of goes back to this right here, right? We raised independently because we want to continue to control the situation as far as the finances go. Or at least I do, right? So I'm the only one that's pretty much in charge of that. And, I've said before that this is a dictatorship in specific domains where the people that are the most knowledgeable, or maybe not most knowledgeable, but just the people that are in control of that situation handle that situation. So we haven't gone there because we don't want to really answer to anybody. We want to answer to ourselves and the team, right? And then, of course, with feedback from some partners that we have, or feedback from some advisors that we have, or even the community, right? So we raised independently to continue to put ourselves in a position financially where we're always in control. So if you see all of these wallets here, these are all multi-sig wallets, 4 out of 7, and anything that gets sent out of these funds is controlled by me. So nobody tells me, Eric, you should do this or you should do that, or Ethan, you should do this or you should do that. This is all controlled by me. So contributor payouts, handled by me. Distributions, I say what, it went from $1 million the first 2 rounds to now 900,000 the next 2, and that's all, done so, again, with feedback, but ultimately I make the decision on that. And I did that because I'm the one that always wants to have control over that, because I think about this constantly. So who better than to have make those decisions? Number 4, how far along are you into building the mobile app? So we're I think by the end of the month we should have something out where you can send and receive USDC from a responsive app, desktop and web, or a desktop and mobile. And then I'm hoping by the year anniversary of the token generation event, which is June 28th, I'm hoping that we have an Android and an iOS app out. And so we'll have an iOS app out, an Android app out, and then the responsive web app, right? And within that, we'll be able to send and receive USDC, and then you'll also be able to swap, because remember, this is Cash App for Ethereum, right? So you'll be able to swap from USDC to Ethereum, or Ethereum back to USDC if you were to send Ethereum in, right? And then what we also want to handle is onboarding and offboarding for here in the United States. So you'll be able to sign in with Plaid, link your account, and if you want to top up 100 USDC, you can do that 1-to-1, and you'll receive 100 USDC. Then you can swap it to Ethereum if you choose, or you can swap it to Send, because again, there's 3 tokens, right, to start: USDC, Ethereum, and Send. And then also too, later on down the line, or for distributions, let's say, so if you're getting a distribution to the Send wallet and it's getting sent to your Send wallet, right? Because we'll likely just push it out to holders instead of having them claim. if you're getting that push to your wallet, then you can swap that immediately, the send that you get for USDC, right? Because there's liquidity there. So again, we want this to be all in real time as far as like actual funds, right? Not points, but actual money, right? If you're participating in the ecosystem and you're being rewarded with actual send tokens, we want that to be real money because we think there's value in that long term. People see that, they tell other people, and it creates this this flywheel. Okay, so the great questions. Thank you, Didi, for asking those. Again, the team, the current multi-sig wallets before and after the price pump. And then, so let's move on to the branding and currently where we're at right now, the branding and the intellectual property. So this initially started when we started in the Cali DAO. I started raising this, 0.5 ETH to 2 Ethereum that people could initially put in. Someone in the chat said, why don't we look to buy this send.it domain? So I looked at I went to the website send.it, and I seen that was owned by this Federico Cerveso. Now, Federico has been in the domain industry for, close to 20 years now, probably 20 years. And he had the foresight to see that these .it domains would be valuable. So he actually sold pin.it to Pinterest in 2012. And he also owns lick.it, and he owns send.it at the time, right? So we reached out to him, and this is the initial message because we were in email, and he reached out on Telegram. And that's when we first got acquainted. Now, we agreed at that time to buy send.it on a lease to own. So he valued the domain at $50,000 or $100,000, which I think was a fair price. And we negotiated. I proposed to him that we pay $50,000 in Ethereum or USDC, but $50,000 USD market value in USD, and then 100 million send. And he could agree to the buyout whenever he felt that the 100 million send was at a price that he felt it was worth it to do that. So currently 100 million send is worth about 24 grand. So we're getting closer to that. And I think we've paid out 3 different payments of 7,500. So we make these payments every 3 months. Now, something has happened with this. So he says, so I reached out on February 26th because we had another domain payment coming up on the 9th of March. I'm saying payment number 4 coming up on the 9th of March, which was going to be 7,500. So that would have put us at 30,000 paid out in total. But he's seen the video and me talking about the finances and us managing that. And he's saying, by the way, following project updates, migrating my tokens to Base, saw your YouTube video and thinking about economics. Don't know how, but would like to help support the idea. Maybe we can slow down the payments a little until you and your team reach a good development stage. And then he says he's actually using the payments to buy send tokens. Maybe we could do like 1,000 a month I proposed. 3,000 every 3 months would certainly help. So he agrees to that. So these are the type of partners we want, right? I knew that when I started working with Federico, just the way him and I were going back and forth, that he was someone that I can trust. And I love partners that are like that. When you say something, you do it, and you follow through with it. Because I'm that same way. If I say something, I'm going to do it, and you can trust that. So Federico, again, is meeting us in the middle. So now we've paid out 3 payments of 7,500, which is 22,500, plus another 3,000, which I paid out. We're going to move the payments from March 9th to March 1st, which I did. So we sent that out. So right now our payments total are 25,500. So we're about 50% of the way there. And we currently owe him 24,500 plus the 100 million send, which is valued at 24,000. So you could figure out of the 100,000, that value right now for him is about 50,000. And it's actually a little bit more because he's bought send, and he bought send, back in September and October. So that's gone up in price for him a little bit. So we're in a really good situation. So that's number one part of our branding and or intellectual property is that Sendit domain. And that's, I think, one of the most powerful domains in crypto. It's got to be, right? Send it. Enough said. So, to kind of pair that, I'm kind of taking the playbook of Shopify here, right? So Shopify owns shop.app. Shop.app was purchased by Shopify in 2020 for $200,000. It's the most expensive .app domain ever sold. Okay, so I had been looking at shop.app domain back in May, June, when this kind of process started. Actually, even before that, probably February, March, right? Because Cash.app, as you know, I've been talking about Cash App for Ethereum, and you know, to have that send.app, I had been looking at it. It was owned by a company called brand.app, and they have a few .app domains. So I reached out to them, and what happened was in November, I seen that somebody had like it was looked like it was purchased already, right? So I messaged them because I was like, fuck, I want this domain, right? And they said, somebody agreed to purchase it, but we can't get a hold of them anymore. So we kind of started negotiating again, and they said they offered 65,000, and then they said if you agree today, we'll meet in the middle at 55,000. And as you can see here, I can't. As I told you before, I'm very limited on my budget as we are a startup. We do own the Send app, and Sendit trademarks with the USPTO. We also own send.it already, as you know, along with the X handle that we acquired for only $4,500 back in August. So again, this is November of 2023. This Send app would be the final piece of our intellectual property, but we can't put ourselves in a precarious position financially this early on. So at that time, they asked me to make an offer, so I made an offer of 45,000. And if you go back to November on the chart, you can see that I market sold, because again, going back to the tokenomics and the financials, and this being a dictatorship, I make decisions kind of on the fly, and this is one of those decisions that I made on the fly. So we sent 750 million send out of the treasury to my wallet. I market sold that for about I think it was $46,000. I transferred that to the bank account, and then we moved to purchase this domain. And as you know, we now own it. So this is kind of the second big piece of our intellectual property. And I picture doing the same play as what Shopify is doing. So Shopify has the Shopify.com, which is more the e-commerce platform, and Send.app is more the mobile play, right? So we have Send.it, which is going to be our e-commerce play, and just overall, vision or overall, gateway to our project. And then we have Send.app, which is kind of the gateway to the mobile app and how people onboard, right? So I think this is a good move for us. So continuing on. So as you know from the last slide, so we own send.app or send X handle, right? And I'm kind of using these two slides to compare because I think this is also valuable. So this account was actually joined in March of 2007, and you can see even Elon Musk has an account that's 2 years older than ours. So that's pretty cool. Because I think this is super valuable, especially being able to pick that up for $4,500. The guy that I bought that off, I just reached out and I got lucky because he just so happened to be in crypto a little bit, so he was very easy to work with. And Alex Kruger actually brokered that deal and helped us do the exchange. So shout out to Alex Kruger. Now let's go into our trademarks, right? So if we look here, this is the first one that we registered. And this send was owned by Silvergate Bank. So Silvergate Bank is in La Jolla, and as you know, they started going through some financial troubles in early 2023 with the whole FTX fiasco and collapse. So I had been watching this trademark for about a year, even before that, and it was live. And because we owned the Send nodes and the Send wallet, projects, and we were building on those, I knew that I wanted to be attached to this name because it was so good, right? So I had been carefully watching that. Well, in June and July, after our token generation event, I happened to look it up again, and I seen that it was abandoned. It had been abandoned about 2 or 3 weeks at the time. So immediately I moved to register the Send trademark, which you can see right above it to the right. I moved to start to register that, and which we are, okay? Now after that, I followed it up with the send.it trademark, and you can see these are classes 42, 36, and 009, and this is pretty much covering software, cryptocurrency wallets, stable coins, things of that nature. And then we moved to the Send app trademark. And then, so these were all kind of done, these top level ones on the top row were done in about July and August and September. And then in November, I had been researching stablecoins so much and real-time payments, so I moved to register those as well. So if you can see, instant payments has been moved to registration. Well, it's not registration, it's live, but it's not currently registered yet. Trademarks take about 10 to 12 months to actually be registered with the USPTO. But something interesting here is instant payments. Wells Fargo owns is registered Instant Payments Simplified, but not Instant Payments. We're the only one that does that. And then, well, the Federal Reserve has moved to register FedNow 24/7 instant payments, and that's for their project that they're working on. FedNow, right? Which is again in the instant payments sector. So we've moved to do that, and then also real-time payments, and these two are pretty much almost the same. But you can, if you look, that's good for SEO purposes. And the idea of having these trademarks is not to so much to go to people and say, hey, you can't use this. It's more to protect ourselves if anybody comes to us and says, hey, you're using this or you're using that. We'll say, no, we have the trademarks for it, right? We are the Send brand. There's nobody that epitomizes the Send brand more than we do. And, we know that. You guys know that. Okay, let's continue on. This kind of wraps up. So we have send.it, we have send.app, and then we have all of these trademarks, right? And this plays into our branding so well. Let's continue on. So this is kind of our first, when we started branding some of our logos. You can see these are the first iterations that Ritesh was doing, and we'll kind of go through these real quickly. So you can see some of the designs. Some of these are cool. We kind of initially wanted to be trying to label it a little bit like Cash App, where we had the S, right? But the next iteration, kind of, if you guys were around, this is kind of where we're at. I originally wanted to have two logos, one for the token and one for the app. So that's kind of where Ritesh came up with these, which I really do love. I mean, these are good logos. Actually, I seen one of these. I think it was this one, this Send app. I seen it on a gas station a few miles from my house, which is kind of interesting. I'll send a pic of it someday. And then next we move to this gold that you can see here. This kind of gold logo, which was nice. You can see right here, this is kind of a good graphic that we came up with. So this is kind of, put into by Cash App, PayPal, Venmo. And this was decent, but it's nothing compared to what we have now, which is this. So this is our current branding that Wolfgang has worked so hard on after kind of going back and forth of what Send was and what we wanted it to be. This is kind of what we settled on, and you can see it's perfect in my opinion for what we want to have going forward. So the essence of the Send wordmark: simplicity and accessibility. The Send wordmark, crafted in DM Sand, symbolizes our commitment to seamless financial interactions and inclusive user experience. It reflects the straightforwardness of a command line interface. Adaptive and versatile, our wordmark adapts to various formats. Use /send in larger settings, /s in medium spaces, and / in compact areas. This ensures brand consistency and visual impact across all platforms. Now, it's important that we don't use the / with other words. So like, you wouldn't say / future cash or / real-time payments or / send it, right? Or you could maybe say / send it because that's two separate words, but you wouldn't do that with other, because what's happening is you're diminishing the brand value when you do that. So let's only use /send with only the send word, right? And then or /s. I seen that Swaptoshi actually recently had a pretty good post on X where he posted something and then he ended it with /s, which I thought was pretty cool. So I think the community is starting to catch on, or they've been catching on since the beginning, that /send, and people are going to start to recognize that a little bit, or a lot online. Even if you just tweet or if you just post on X /send, people are going to know it's us. So that's cool for the community for catching that. So again, the primary wordmark used often, /send. Secondary used occasionally, /s, and then tertiary used rarely. I don't really use this, but I could see instances possibly where you could use that, which is just the /. Okay. To maintain a clear and consistent brand image, the Send logo is recommended to be displayed in one of the following colors: neon green, white, or black. I really love these right here, especially this one, and this white one is super crisp. This is actually really nice too, which I haven't used much, but I could see us using that a lot. For instance, where the background is neon green or white, it is essential to present the logo in black to ensure optimal legibility. This color strategy ensures that the logo maintains its visual impact and readability across various backgrounds, contributing to a cohesive and recognizable brand presence. Never use the logo in any of the secondary colors. Very nice. So kind of showing a little bit more of our brand here, a little bit more. /send, /send. It's beautiful. I mean, I really love that we came to this, and this is what we are. This is what Send is we're always improving. We can always make adjustments and improve, and that's what we're doing. So after we kind of designed the logo of what Send was, or not we, I mean, yeah, we, but mostly Wolfgang. So we worked with the design from Wolfgang Project, which after this presentation or this update, we're gonna follow. We have a video with Hesling and Adriaan, who are a couple of founders from Wolfgang. But after we worked on the logo, we moved on to kind of the brand values and the narrative of kind of what we're selling here. So simplicity, financial transactions are as straightforward as social interactions. That is Send, right? That's what we want Send to be. Autonomy, users are in full control of their financial dealings with no intermediaries. 3, innovation, a forward-thinking approach to integrating finance into the social fabric. Inclusivity, a universal tool that is accessible to all, breaking down financial barriers. And then community, fostering a sense of connection and shared experiences through transactions. So these are kind of our brand values, and I spoke about these before, but this is just, I mean, it's this primo right here. Branding, simplicity, autonomy, innovation, inclusivity, and community. We love that. So let's always think about these when we're thinking about Send and bringing people into our ecosystem. And then the narrative, which is important. We have the logo, we have the brand values, and we have the narrative. Imagine a world where every payment, whether you're a customer or a merchant, is as intuitive and seamless as sending a text. And if you see, I shared some screenshots from our internal chat that Headroom was talking about that. Where he sees, sending a payment where it's, /send at ETH 50 USDC, right? That's seamless as sending a text. This is the world of Send, where transactions are more than just exchanges. They're instant connections made possible by the simplicity of QR codes, ensuring a contactless, secure, and efficient experience. For merchants, this ushers in a new era of hassle-free, borderless commerce, leveraging the stability and efficiency of digital currency through blockchain technology. If you noticed, if you've been on X recently, you've seen Coinbase in their smart contract wallet. They've done really, really good work with that. And then if you've seen at ETH Denver, they were, they're selling these Girl Scout cookies with where you're scanning the QR code. And I've been talking about this QR code now for the past few months. Originally, when we started off with this, it was, and what you're seeing a lot of these crypto, spending crypto in the real world, what you're seeing is they're integrating a lot of these Visa and MasterCard into their payment solution, or into their app, into their product, right? And I thought about this, I was thinking about it from September, October of last year, and then I came to a point where we're just going to drop the card altogether, because we want to be thinking forward, right? How are payments going to happen in 2040, in 2030, right? Well, I can assure you, yes, payments are going to be happening with a card, but a lot of payments are going to be start happening through a QR code. So what you had a few years back, or even now, or 20 years ago, where it was swipe to pay, where you're swiping your card, and people were even reluctant to do that, but now everybody does that. And now it's moved from swipe to pay to now scan to pay, or tap to pay, right? Where you're tapping your phone on through the NFC technology, and now you tap to pay. Well, the next evolution of that, in my opinion, is scan to pay, which is scanning these QR codes, whether it's at the grocery store with the merchant, or shopping at a farmer's market where you're scanning somebody's QR code through their Send app. But I think QR codes are going to start to make their way into the payments a little bit more, and you're already seeing that with in some of these other countries, India especially, where people are paying they're paying for transportation by way of scanning a QR code. So again, you're going to see that more and more. So we've kind of dropped the whole card thing. We want to be thinking forward. So again, made possible by the simplicity of QR codes, ensuring contactless, secure, and efficient experience, right? That's the narrative we want to sell, right? Hassle-free and borderless commerce, okay? All made possible by Base and stablecoins and Send. Carrying on. But Send goes beyond just transactions. It's about building a community through peer-to-peer transfers where users are not just participants, but stakeholders in a vibrant ecosystem. When we say that, we're not just saying that because, we're trying to sell. I mean, everything is selling for one, but we really believe that. There's a reason why we have the Send token. For one, to bootstrap this project, right? Because again, with the question that DD asked, why not go the VC route? Well, we want to be building with the community from day one, and that's what we've done. And that's just the way you're supposed to do it going forward. I mean, if we look at our token model and the way that we've initially raised the 200 Ethereum, as you know from our last video, that's the way that you're supposed to do the tokenomics, in my opinion. Is you raise a small round, you put up some thick liquidity. You take maybe a third of that, or not a third of that, maybe 20 to 25% of that, put it in the treasury, start to build your product, and then continue to give updates. Your liquidity goes up, price goes up. Maybe you're selling into that liquidity, and this is again a stick and move situation, right? But that's made possible because of the Send token. And not only is the building made possible from the Send token, but the growth is going to be made possible through the Send token because the stakeholders, the people that are buying the token, are participating in this growth by getting the word out on the project, on the product, sending people Send, right? So with the Send token, every interaction within the app is an opportunity to earn rewards, from signing up to making transactions and engaging with the community. These tokens aren't just digital assets, they're keys to a world of possibilities, from claiming discounts to unlocking exclusive benefits. This is something that Wolfgang talks about a lot, and in our follow-up video, you'll see that they're talking about this. Engaging or being part of the Send ecosystem, you're going to get discounts, right? Kyrie just talked about this, right? In-app rewards, right? Unlocking exclusive benefits, let's say to some streetwear or a skate brand, or the merchant down the shop that's doing a monthly pop-up or something, right? Or let's say you're going to a music festival, right? And you bought your ticket, and now you can go and claim that hoodie, right? This is what we want to enable within the app, right? Send is the transformation of the very fabric of how we buy, sell, and connect, making the future of money intuitive, inclusive, and empowering for everyone, everywhere. Now, all of this stuff that's written here, this is all done from Wolfgang Project, and we're going to talk to them now in this video after, because this is just, I mean, these guys are just the top of the top. When you talk about branding, there's a reason that, for one, why they want to work with Send, because Send is just an amazing brand for payments, but they obviously knew that they could, that our branding wasn't up to par, and that they could help to make this better. And you can see all of this is done by them. And words are powerful. I certainly couldn't do this. I didn't do it. There's a reason why they're our #1 contributor, and they get the most contribution payouts. So great work, guys. And then you have some of the branding. You can see kind of how we want our branding to be, and it's just beautiful. As you can see, we do a lot of branding towards like Africa. So Kenya, Tanzania, because we see with what's happening with this is a beautiful one right here. This black S on the white background. So you guys, that's pretty much gonna end this video. You're gonna say hi. Say hi. Hey, what's up, suckers? Say peace out.
Peace out, Bobby.
No, you say peace out to the video. Say right here. Look right here. Say peace out.
Peace out.
All right, guys. Peace out. Let's check out Wolfgang happening next, right? Thanks for watching. Peace out. All right, guys. Hey, so this is the second part of the video where we're talking to Hesling and Adriaan here. In the first video, I introduced the Wolfgang Project, and Hesling and Adriaan are two of the founders from Wolfgang Project. Two of the three founders. The third one is Boz, who's also been helping out define what Send is. Let's hear what from Hesling and Adriaan about their background, and then they can talk a little bit about Send.
All right, sounds good. So my name is Hesling. This is Wolfgang Project is my third company actually. I started in 2006 with my first company called Pool Worldwide, where we focused on making viral videos, which you would now call social videos. That was a lot of fun because it was a completely new market, and it got us very excited that all of a sudden everybody could become a publisher. So everybody could start broadcasting, and your content could reach the whole world, which was just something amazing. YouTube didn't even exist yet, almost. I think it did because we used it, but it was then also still possible to make videos that reached millions of people without having to spend anything on pushing it. So got a lot of interesting brands on board, like beer brands like Heineken, and we worked for Sony and Samsung and Philips, and made all kinds of wild stuff. Also a couple of film festivals, won a lot of awards with it. Actually worked on a big Star Wars project with LucasArts, which did really well. Worked with the actual Darth Vader and Yoda voices. And then, because that company was really focused on the Dutch European market, I stepped out. I sold my part in that company and started a new company, which was more strategic and PR focused, and lean more towards branding, where we helped brands like Starbucks to introduce Starbucks into Europe, for instance, but also helped the royal family of Abu Dhabi make a city more interesting for professors to move into. All really, really diverse types of projects, but complicated stuff. With that company, we also worked on big financials like ING Bank, for instance, which we did a rebrand for the entirety of Europe and Japan. Created whole campaigns with Ewan McGregor, which was a lot of fun, but it was also advertising, and at one point you get a little bit bored, and I started discovering more and more about what was happening in blockchains. Also, I know Adriaan for a long time already, and he was in that a lot. And during COVID, I had a lot of time to think, and then started playing more with all kinds of AI tools, which made doing productions a lot easier. So starting to do photography. So we created this photography tool, for instance, for clients that they can now buy from us, and everything has the same look and feel in photography, and we just rent that out to them. But also what we'd like to do invest our creative capital into companies that we believe in, where we think, okay, this is a good team, this is a good promise that they have. We don't want to work for them, we want to work with them. We think they could use our help. We have years and years of experience in this. But we also have experience that we put a lot of our creativity into brands and never profited from those brands. So they walked away. Their boards of directors walked away with big bags of money, but we were just left finding a new client, and that's just not something we were interested in anymore. So Adriaan and I started identifying projects more in the Web3 space, where we thought, okay, the idea is great, the people behind it are great, they have a good reputation, but they're not telling the story as good as they could be telling it. And let's just offer what we can do for them, but be a part of it. So stay involved and own it partly. And I think that's a really healthy and satisfying way of working together. And that's how we started working with you, Ethan. So just started talking, and I think pretty soon we realized that, okay, we're very complementary to each other. Everybody has a different skill set. We're all on a good level. And we feel that this product has a lot of potential. Instantly, the ideas started flowing. And I think it's still, every time we talk, we have more ideas and we see how good it actually is. But maybe talk about that later. Maybe for you now, Adriaan.
Yeah, I'll keep it a little bit shorter because I think you already explained a lot. So Yeah, my background is actually design. So I had my own design studio for around 15 years. I had a little break in between. So in Amsterdam, the Netherlands, I had a little break in between where I worked for an international architecture and design magazine, did art direction and design there. Later moved back, started my own studio again, and then worked for a lot of institutional clients here in the Netherlands and internationally. Did a lot of exhibition design, a lot of identity design, a lot of different stuff, but more in the cultural field. I got interested in blockchain in 2017. I started investing. And then a few years later, I also started working together with crypto companies. I was part of a crypto startup in 2020, where I was the design director, and I helped grow and scale that project. Where I was doing all the design, all the communication design, and managing a team of people. We were also developing Web3 wallets and a DeFi platform. After that, during that period, I met two people, and since 2 years, we've been running our own project around decentralized digital identity. So that's something I'm still doing right now as well. So that's one of my startups. And then, I think already like 8-9 months ago, I moved into the office under Hesling. We got talking. Hesling was talking about AI. I was talking about Web3, and we just thought like, okay, this, we should connect these two kind of. For me, it was already quite obvious that AI and blockchain was like a match made in heaven, you could say. And I think you're seeing that also really coming to light now within the industry. But of course, we are both creatives, and I think trying to think around how you can develop and build products within Web3, within kind of the field of AI, but using our creative talent and knowledge. I think that's something that excites us. But also thinking about how creatives can also be part of a community, be part of a project, and also contribute their skill sets, and also profit, and reap the rewards when a project does well. And I think that's a really cool model. That's what we like about Web3. And that's what we're also doing with Send, right? So we're collaborating with you guys. We're bringing in our talent, our knowledge, our network, and we're going to help you guys scale. So that's what we do.
I love that. It's a brilliant business model. So, Hesling and Adriaan are like the quintessential designers, right? And branding people. Like when you talk about, when you think of like designer, you think of Amsterdam, you think of like Switzerland or Germany, right? And these guys are European, I would say, right? So these guys are, again, like the quintessential. You couldn't have anybody better for branding on a project than these two guys, in my opinion. And the business model of Wolfgang Project is like so brilliant, right? So like the AI, using AI generation to create content for projects, or right, to create just photography or videos down the line is again just a brilliant idea. So kudos to you guys for coming up with that and kind of teaming up.
Yeah, I just want to say, like, I think AI is a tool. It's like it kind of makes the whole process of working like a lot faster, of course. But I mean, in the end, it's also about, do you understand design? Do you understand typography? Do you understand photography? Do you have those references, right? Do you have the right strategic vision? I mean, an AI is only as good as the input that goes into that AI model. And I think what we bring is kind of our experience. And, Hesling is really, when it comes to creating images, he has like a whole library in his head of references and of photography, of styling, of concepts, and I think that's so important. So people can say they can do things with AI, but that's only a small part of the job, right? It's also really about what from the outset. So
Absolutely,
yeah.
and you can't plug into an AI. My prompt is going to be 1,000 times different than Hesling's prompt, right? And I mean, they're hiring prompt writers now. Let's talk about this Send brand. Let's go into this now, and let's talk about the journey from when we had first started to then coming up with the messaging and the narrative of what Send is going to be. Let's talk about your guys' process and what you guys' thoughts on Send.
Well, I think we instantly love the idea of being able to pay with crypto for all kinds of things that would previously been impossible, but also getting it closer to not replacing your bank, but more replacing the cash that you have in your pocket. So more the stuff that you walk around with. So if you go to a music festival, or you go to a sneaker store, or just a more basic daily transactions, which I guess in large part of the Western world are already quite digital and convenient. But if we look further out, if we look at sub-Saharan Africa, for instance, we see a lot of potential there. Very young population, very vibrant youth culture. And that there's just so much opportunity, but also here, even in the Netherlands, there's all kinds of applications that we can think of, and that immediately brought us, and having the Send token to create loyalty, but maybe even more important, to add a community layer to your financial transactions. It's really social money.
Are you still recording, Ethan?
Yeah, I'm here. Go ahead.
Okay, you just cut out again for a second, so I don't know.
Sorry about that. Go ahead.
Maybe just go back to around the
social money. Social money. Go ahead.
The social aspect of the application, I think, is wonderful, and we can really down the line see the possibilities of having this Send community that gets perks because they are part of it, but and with those perks are able to do things that other people aren't necessarily able to do with their MasterCard or their debit card or whatever other platform they're on. And I also like it that we're positioning it less as a payment application for everyone. I think we're really focused more on youth culture, more streetwear, more music festivals. It's younger. It's almost like the TikTok of money, you know. We're not trying to convince my mother to pay with it, even though she easily could, because that's also what we from the beginning were always, and then we share that with Ethan. Simplicity is such a key factor in this. You want to create a frictionless experience. But also cutting out the freaking banks that are just sitting on your money and that you have to fucking deal with every time if you want to do something. I think this makes a lot of things a lot easier. Also, that you can be anonymous with it, I think is really good, which also gives you opportunity. And I think for a lot of smaller merchants, this is a perfect tool to see who their customers are, to reward them, and to play with also what the Send token can do. So every time you do transactions, you get rewarded with these Send tokens, and these Send tokens can be seen as loyalty points, but they can also give you access to special issued, small issued products or whatever, you know. And I think that just makes it a lot more fun. And I think I haven't seen anything like that yet. And I think we have the right people and the right vision to really start turning this into a reality. And we have to start somewhere. And I think we're already we're moving quite fast. In the sense that this brand is developing quickly, our narrative is becoming very strong. I haven't seen anyone that is doing it like we are doing. I think we're quite ballsy in how we're positioning it. It's very different types of imagery. It's how we talk about it is different. We're not bland. We have a strong identity. And I think we have to earn our stripes. So we have to start working with the right people. We're not going to work with just anyone. We're going to identify people that we look up to, and they are going to have to look up to us because of how we behave. It's all about how we behave as a brand as well. So who we choose to work with is going to reflect on us.
Yeah.
These guys,
and we have to work just as hard as they do, but they will all benefit. And I also like the idea that people benefit themselves and the community benefits from the community instead of all the people that hold the stock of the big companies and they take their big bonuses. Everybody takes a bonus, basically, how the more successful it gets. So I think there's a lot of good things in there. And I think it's time for a real fresh wind in this in the whole payment industry. So I'm very happy to be part of it, and I can see it going a long, long way.
Yeah, I mean, I think like the process is also really interesting. Like, you know, when I first kind of identified the project, like I saw kind of straight away, you know, the name. I think is super strong. So, and I know you've kind of like locked in the rights for the name. So I think that's a genius move. So I mean, already from the get-go, I was like, okay, Send, that's already a winner. But you know, I think what was lacking at the time was that the vision around the project, what it was going to be like as a payment application, was really good. But I think what's really important, like if you think about a payment solution, like it's basically like what differentiates a bank or a payment solution from one another. And basically, it's branding, right? So it's kind of the narrative, the story you tell as a payment solution. And what you're seeing is kind of like basically all these different options, they offer more or less the same, but then just with a different flavor. And so what we were thinking about was to do something that's much more aligned with people that are interested in kind of like, that are more tech savvy, more people that are more aligned with Web3, people that understand maybe kind of also the stablecoin economy, kind of first movers, and create a brand and a narrative around that. Because it's also really about the story you're telling. And I think that was kind of missing with the initial kind of product. It didn't really have a narrative. And yeah, so we really see an opportunity there. I think it's about building an identity around this project. And building a solid product as well. You know, I think that's number one. It's a product, but it's also kind of how it resonates with people and what you can connect to that brand as well. So I mean, we really see Send kind of as something that's more related to, like Hesling said, to like more urban culture, also like festivals, you know, clubbing, you know, drop culture, fashion. Just very contemporary brand. And we also want Send to be a brand that also collaborates and works together with artists, creators, people that are actually kind of doing cool shit. You know, we're not just some brand that just says, you know, with some smiley people that's just, you know, offering some kind of feel good lifestyle thing. Now we really want to kind of collaborate with people, and we want to attach creators and upcoming artists to the Send brand. And I think that's a really exciting space because, you know, getting involved with creators is also going to be able to offer kind of opportunities to people within the Send community. And yeah, and I think in that respect, it's also really about culture. So, and crypto's about culture and Send's about culture. And that's what we're also really about. So.
Now,
Yeah.
you guys had come up with the initial, right, with the brand values, which, I agree with that. So you guys had said it's like, so I started collecting this brand, right? Our IP, the send.it, the send app, and you guys came in. We've been working together for about 3 months now, and that's one thing that I didn't know how to really do is like tell this story, like, it's one thing to be on video or to talk in chats and hey, we're doing this and this is what we're going to do. But actually telling the story through, let's say, pictures and as the months go by, right? Pictures and words, right? That's what you guys are really good at doing. So back to this, the brand values, simplicity, autonomy, innovation, inclusivity, and community, right? And then the narrative, and then you can talk a little bit more, Hesling, about this. So going back to the narrative, which I spoke about earlier in the video, Send goes beyond just transactions. It's about building a community through peer-to-peer transfers where users are not just participants but stakeholders in a vibrant ecosystem, which is what you spoke about earlier, Hesling. The Send token with every transaction. And then Send is the transformation of the very fabric of how we buy, sell, and connect, making the future of money intuitive, inclusive, and empowering for everyone everywhere. How did you guys, obviously the Send it's a good name, but what were you guys thinking about as far as like the future of money and about where we're going, not just where we're at right now, but where we're going with crypto and stable coins and culture?
Yeah, I think a lot of younger people live their lives already for 80% online. So it makes a lot of sense to create a system that seamlessly integrates within that as well. And they're making their money online. So let's it's different types of money now. So let's take that as a starting point instead of starting with whatever you get from your ATM machine. We're getting it from a different machine, but we still want to spend it, and we don't want to overcomplicate it. We want to make that simple. And that's the way how I make money. That's the way I also want to spend my money, and it becomes part of my lifestyle. This is how this is how I spend my earnings, and then working with the handles and making it a much more a social payment tool. Also adds something to it that is valuable, I think, and creates a little bit more of loyalty towards who you are as a payment solution provider, because you're doing things with you're getting involved with events and with artists and all these, and if we do that well, people identify with that. We're not just sponsors that pump a lot of money and then get our name stamped on it. We actually try to improve the experience of these things and add something extra that reflects on us and also that the community wants to identify with. So it's much more than just a payment solution. It's really about that community as well. Mm-hmm. That's something that's really strong, has been very strong from the beginning. And I like it that it's a very, we're not a big corporation. Everybody can get involved. Everybody can come up with ideas. And we're very open to it. And I think that's the way forward. I mean, we need to listen also to the people that are using our product, and just make sure that we grow with them.
Yeah, I also have like this mantra. We have also like around Web3 is like communities are the companies of the future, right? So, when you're talking about building a business nowadays, I mean, all the talent, all the people that are talented, like a lot of them are just working from home, working from a cafe, whatever, behind their laptop, right? And I think what's cool about crypto is really about you're able to incentivize people, to take part of their own free will. If they believe in your project, in your vision, in what you're trying to build, if it's something that they can relate to, they want to take part in, they're going to help boost that community, right? They're going to help kind of bring ideas to the table. They're going to be kind of that kind of feedback layer. So I think this is something we really strongly believe in, and what we really identified also with the Wolfgang Project, but also in Send, is that this community aspect is like super powerful. And if we can really make the Send brand work, because let's be honest, right? It's about building a brand. Because I mean, look, you're seeing a lot of crypto payment solutions at the moment, but they're all kind of similar, and they're all like, you can endless amounts of tokens, endless amounts of this. But as you pointed out earlier, Ethan, I think like the stablecoin market, that's going to explode. That's going to be kind of a really big sector in the next, I think, 5 to 10 years. I mean, and people also really want really simple tools that are very easy to use, that have great incentives built in, a great community, and just a great experience. Because like for the crypto heads, we can deal with some complexity, but when it comes to leveling up, I mean, even just one layer outside of crypto to like tech savvy people that want to experiment or want to get into using USDC or stable coins, they're going to be critical. They want a really good experience, and that's what we want to build.
You're getting me excited, bro. Pump my bag, baby. That was hot. That was hot. It's so true, man. It's so fucking true. So, the simplicity of the app, right? A lot of these guys, it's a lot of these other guys are doing. We talked about it in the other video. With Cash App for Ethereum, it's so simple. There's only 3 or 4 tokens. A couple stable coins, USDT, USDC, Ethereum, because that's ultrasound money. That's going to continue to go up 10, 15 grand someday. And then Send for the rewards token is in the app as well, right? And just to have that simplicity within the app, I think is a differentiator for us that a lot of people are not doing. So I mean, you hit the nail, boom, on the head, man.
Yeah, but it's also about what we can bring. Like if we can collaborate with really cool artists, good brands, if we can kind of create some kind of incentive layer where, imagine you work with an artist and he has like amazing artwork or whatever, and then we create like a website around that, and we do a drop with that artist. Imagine that. And then the only way to get that artwork is through the Send app, right? Paid with Send. Just send. You just, if you're first, you go to the screen, you scan it, and all your information in the Send app, and boom, you're one of the 100, 200, 300 people that are able to get that artwork or that swag or whatever, So we really think around like creative culture. I think that's something that's going to really drive the Send brand, connecting with artists and just cool brands and companies. And I think that's kind of like one of the first areas we really want to attack. So
Peter Thiel says that when you're trying to disrupt an industry, you don't try to disrupt it all at once, right? You need to find that niche market, and I think you guys have kind of you guys have that in your head of kind of what the next step for Send is, and I'm grateful for that. So for those, the Send token, we've set aside 10% for contributors. And Wolfgang Project has been the biggest contributor to date, and they've taken home the most tokens out of that wallet, out of that multi-sig to date. And I'm just, that's why we made them, right? That's why, because we wanted these contributors to come in, these people who are exceptional, who are the dictators of what they do. And I've said that before, Send is like a dictatorship where the person who is the most knowledgeable is responsible for that specific area of what Send is doing. So that's why the Wolfgang Project is responsible for our branding and for our creativity and how we're doing this and the story that we're telling going forward. So it was a great recording. You guys have any closing thoughts going forward? We're about 30 minutes in.
No,
you guys want to share your screen? You guys want to share your screen? You want to share anything? You guys have anything?
You want to hear anything? We can give a little preview of maybe the website.
Yeah, let's give him a little taste. Let's give him a little taste of the sauce.
Okay, let's have a look what we have here. Okay, this is just a gray screen, so I don't know if I have to.
Pure simplicity, huh? We people need to feel calm.
Okay.
So we chose for gray.
I don't know if you guys can see kind of what's going on here.
This is older stuff already.
Yeah, you don't gotta show it. Look at that. Ooh. Look at how these guys do work. I mean, these guys are doing a lot of work.
But it's interesting because like this is kind of like starting with kind of wireframes.
Right. Don't show it. Don't show it all. Don't zoom into it all. Maybe find a couple pages. Maybe towards the end, some contact pages or something. Nothing too crazy. Look at that. Look at that, baby.
Got the send token up here.
Yeah.
We got a guy. He just loaded up in some swag. He's walking away from the Stussy store. But it's also about telling kind of a narrative about the people using the token, using the application. So yeah. We've got these little things. Somebody just bought some Jordan 1 retro high off white. Only cost him $1,600. I mean, that's a steal. Yeah, I mean it's looking good. It's looking really fresh. I think we have an amazing design team. Like also guys that are just working with us, and this is the works.
Clean, and easy to understand as possible. I think that's always the challenge, that we don't want people to have to read a lot. There will be a lot of documentation available, but at first glance you have to just sort of get the overall story and the feel, and see like, okay, this is a different type of brand than I'm used to. And we're trying to get that exactly right. And there's a lot of little things, but we're getting closer and closer. And you can see in the overall bigger picture, like where we come from, we start very small and then we make a lot of different variations. And then we talk about that a lot. And every week we have a meeting also with you guys and trying to get tighter and tighter and tighter, and just stripping away all the stuff that we don't need. And how do we tell the story in the most concise way that also connects best with our audience.
I think it was like, I think late December, where you guys were we started working together early December, and you guys started asking this question to me, well, what is Sendit? And I had not really defined that. Of course it was a payment solution, but what really is it, right? So I had put together a deck, and then I presented that to you guys, I think late December, and then so you guys have basically been kind of working with the brand from the information that I give you for 6 weeks, and you guys moved extremely quick to where we are at today. So again, what I was saying earlier is about Wolfgang and Hesling and Adriaan and Boz. I mean, these guys are the best, and we work with the best.
I just want to say one more thing, Ethan. That's really important for us. Like, we only want to work with projects that we believe in, right? That we think have potential. So I think that's also really important, because our goal in our work is only to make stuff that we think is fucking awesome, right? We just want to make good work, and we want to make stuff that we believe in ourselves, that we would use ourselves, right? And I think that's key. And that's also great about our relationship. I think we're really learning from one another. And, I think you guys have been really responsive, really open. I think you're also really changing up your game as well in terms of communications and narrative as well. So, and I think that's the key to what we do in our project, but in Web3 in general, is that, you just have to really just work on stuff you really care about. So, I just want to put that out there.
Yeah, and also finding this sort of whole ecosystem of companies that we collaborate with that can also actually work together again. So we're going to Barcelona next week, and we're talking to some people that create these AR sort of experiences, some NFT collectibles, but that can also be connected to Send. So we can all work together, and hopefully in the end, we start working with all these brands, and as a payment solution over it, there's always Send, because that's also part of what we are as the Wolfgang Project. So for everything, we could start paying people with Send, and every loyalty incentive we can come up with, we can use Send, because we understand it. We're close to the team. If we have to make minor changes to make it happen, the lines are direct, and we can be first movers. So that's also really attractive for us. So we're just looking for these types of projects that have great technology, a really good idea, but don't necessarily have marketing or communication skills. We have those, and that's what we invest. And we invest because we believe in it.
You guys are not only close to the team, you're part of the team. So forever grateful, man, because again, you guys are the best at branding and design that I've found, and I've been looking for a lot of stuff for 20 years. I found Ritesh. I've been working with him for 12 years, and as he said before, he's more of a UI UX designer. And we've done some pretty good work with brand, but nothing. And him and I have said that over and over again. Nothing close to what you guys do. So again, grateful. And back to the token and contributor payouts. As we're going forward, we want contributors, the best of the best, to have a stake in what Send is, and that's why we've given out those tokens, because we want the best of the best to have a stake in ownership in the project and in the company, right? So grateful that you guys can be a part of this. Hey, thanks for coming, guys. Really appreciate you taking time out of the day, and let's continue to send it.
Okay, for sure, man. Cheers.
Thanks.
Bye.